Hello and good morning. Thank you for stopping by Aspire to Inspire Arts and Crafts. Today I am here for the fact that I had a request from Debbie Whitehouse and she wanted to learn how I made my day 27 of the Craftly Haul, the Creep on June 2024 collaboration. So I thought I'd just come here to show her how I actually made this. Now, this is the project that I made. And so what I have done already to get this, because I want to make this as quick as I can, but explanatory for you to understand how I made this. And for those who are watching and wants to learn too, welcome and thank you for stopping by. Um, what I did is I cut my part to the day 27, which was the coin pocket, the tag, this tag, and I call this the tombstone, the planchette and spirit board with letters and numbers painted into it. So that was what my tombstone said. So it's like, okay, how do I go about making my project? Well, let me just give you a little story behind that. I was under the impression, knowing me, um, that I was supposed to use my number 27 of the ephemera. And when you pull out the number 27, this is what you get. This is the other person here. So this is what you get. So I thought I was supposed to work with this and with the coin and a pocket and the tag along with the tombstone. I'm calling this a tombstone. But anyway, so that's what I thought I was supposed to be working with. So I had to revisit the story to Craftly Hall because I did hear it from the voice and I did read it. And so it takes a while for me to register the story. I like to watch the movies because I could understand it a lot better that way than reading it. But anyway, so I went ahead and cut it, my project, and I went ahead and closed off the coin pocket because I wanted to make it into the background. Okay, so I went ahead and distressed it, and I did the same thing to my tag and the same thing to my tombstone. So I went ahead and distressed all of that. And the distressing that I used was ground espresso. So that's what I use. So after that, I went ahead and I sewed my my coin pocket and also my tag. And I cardstocked the tag and the tombstone. I'm calling it a tombstone. So I did that. Okay. So when I read this, I'm going, okay, what is a planchette? Well, first I was calling it a planchette. Planchette? And then I looked at it and I realized that it was planchette. So I says, what is a planchette? So when I looked it up, a planchette is this. I didn't know that. So I learned something new. I learn something new every day. So this is a planchette. So what I did, I cut it off. I fussy cut it and distressed it with a ground espresso. The middle part, I made it into a glass. So I did my diamond glaze on it and let it dry. Once it was dry, I punch hole and put an eyelid, and I tied this elastic string to it, to the tombstone, which I am calling. because they look like little tombstones. But anyway, so that's what a planchette is. And then the spirit board with the letters and numbers painted into it, I'm going like, okay, I don't see it anywhere in the kit. So I went to Google and I came across a whole bunch of Ouija boards, but I picked the Oracle board. So I Oracle board. So I used the Oracle board. I printed it out and I cardstocked it too, and I have my board now. So I have these two. So all these three. So I decided to once I sold everything around it. I glued it. I glued right here on this side to the bottom of to the side of the tag and all the way down and to this side to make a pocket. But before I did that, I went ahead and used a X-Acto knife to cut this part. I really like the mesh, so I didn't want to cover the mesh when I put this in here. So I make sure that I cut it on the right side of the mesh and not on the left side, because you already could see the pattern, but you couldn't see the mesh if I was to cut it right there. It would hide it, and I wanted that to show. So that's why I did it that way. So make sure you cut it with the X-Acto knife, and be careful with that, because make sure your hands are away from the X-Acto knife. So then once I did that, I was able to put my board here and the tomb, I calling it a tomb, and my planchette to look like this. I went ahead and I glued this lady here, this person, and what I did is when I glued it, I left the space, because what I did is I measured this and I wanted to know where I wanted to put my planchette. So I glued everything else, left about a gap right here so I could include that in here. So everything else got glued. Then I punched some holes and put the brad on here. Now, the tag is supposed to be down a little bit. I glued it all the way to the top. I don't know why, but make sure you leave yourself a gap here for the tag to bring it down, because that's the way it is on mine. See, I brought it down, and for some reason I went all the way up. So just thought I showed you. And before you glue the tag that I used the cardstock to, make 2 punch holes, put 2 eyelets, and then I wrapped it around with string, and then I tied it. Now you could put the tie on the front or you could put it in the back. I prefer to put mine in the bag. I make sure that I put tape on it so that when I put my Oracle card, it will not get stuck. Okay, so that's what I did to this. Then I fussy cut the clock and put it on here. And what I used was the diamond glaze again to put the clock here. And then there's my brads. I punch hole. I use my awl to make a punch hole here and here to put my awl here. To put my brads here. Okay. So once I fixed all of this the way it looks, with the top part, I noticed that my disaster part was when I was trying to, could you see, right here was my punch holes for my 2-inch prong fastener. And I put them right here. So when I attached this to this, that's where it was at. So when my disaster was that when I was trying to lift this up to make it into a flip, it was not flipping. It was, the more I used my cards, the thicker it was getting, and it was like it's not doing the flip up at all. So it's like, okay, I already started with the disaster. What do I do here? So I had to come up with a plan, a solution. And so my solution was to add some fabric to my cards, to my tags. See, all of these are, except the last one. See, so I had to add some cloth behind here, okay, to all of them. I believe these are 2 inches. Yeah. So I'd add a 2-inch fabric lengthwise, and then the width, I believe, is 4. Just about 4, 3/4. Some are 4, some are 3/4. So, but yeah, so the length I did as well. As you know, this is not even. I didn't care because, again, this is supposed to look grungy and spooky, and I wanted it to look grungy. So these are not perfect, and I wanted that. So when I got the 2-inch to all of my cards, then I was able to punch my holes up here. And I made sure that when I did that I left a 4th coming down from the metal to the card, okay, to give it that flip that I wanted. So that's what I did here. Now, where you could get these 2-inch prong fasteners is at Amazon. They sell them in the box, and so that's where I got mine, and I have so much that it's going to last me a long time. But yeah, these are called the 2-inch prong fastener because of the prong and the fastener. Okay, so once I got all of my my fabric together, and the reason why I can't take this out right now is because of, well, yeah, I just took it off. The fabric, I needed to attach the top part so that I could cover my fastener that's going to be right here, okay? So I wanted to cover the fastener. So to do that, let me put this to the side now that you know that I had to add 2-inch fabric, add 4 this way, and then I punched my holes a 4th up from the fastener. If I could find my fastener somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, it's stuck here with that because of the magnet. So my fasteners are right here, and I left a 1/4 gap right here so that I could do my flip, okay? So that's what I did to all of them. So all of these now have fabric on them, okay? So the next thing was to do my fastener. Now let me put this aside here. I have an example over here what I'm doing here. Okay, when you make your cover to hide your fastener, I use this one just to show you, okay? So what you do is you make this is what? A 2.5 going up. And I think it's 2 1/4. because this is a 1 inch and 1 inch, and then I made a fourth. So when I think it's, yeah, 1 inch. So when you measure 1 inch this way, mark it on both sides and then burnish it, okay? Fold it and burnish it with a bone folder, okay? Make sure you burnish that, okay? And then you measure 1/4, which I did. Again, this is 1 inch right here. So then what you do, you burnish this side, okay? Make sure you burnish it. When you do that, you get the spine, the 1/4 spine that you're gonna need in order to make sure that your tags fit right in here with the fabric that I use now for it to work. Okay, so once you have that, then the next thing I did was when I put my, let me see, this is just for an example. Okay, so when you close this and you put your fastener here and the other fastener on this other side, then what I did is I put my magnet, 2 magnets, let me take 2 off here. I got my 2 magnets, and what I did is I put it on the prong, okay, and on the other side of the prong. And once I did that, I glued it. I used my glue and put a generous amount of glue to my magnets, okay? Then once I did that, or in order to get the measurements, what I did, I'll show you right now, but let me just get this going here. So, so here's the magnets, right? So I glued it, and then pretend the cloth and the magnet's not here, just the paper, okay? Then I closed it, and I held on to it for a little bit. This gives me the indent, but it also leaves the glue stickiness on it. And then once that left it there, then I went ahead and got my my magnets, and I put it where the glue was at, and I added a little bit more glue, and I put it on top. And I did the same thing. Now this is just on paper, not on this yet. And then the other one on the paper where it shows the indent. Then once that's done, then you get the fabric, this fabric, the 1-inch fabric, and you cover it. When you cover it, I used the glue stick. Glue stick and fabric with paper works wonders. So I used the glue stick on the paper, glued it all the way around the magnet. Did the same thing over here. Make sure you got plenty of glue stick. And then I got my fabric and I laid it on it. And then I went and I pressed it all the way around it, to get my my magnets to stay where I want it to stay. Okay. And once that was glued, and then you were able to close this. Now, once you have that part, then you could go back to your, let me take these magnets out of the way. You could go back now to your fabric. To your fabric, because not this one, because this one doesn't have it. Oh, here it is. So you go back to your fabric. Make sure that this is glued on. And let me take this off now. because now what you need to do is get the this part and then the fabric, and then the fastener. Glue this on here. Glue this on there. Make sure that it's 1/4 apart from the metal. And then glue this on here. Fasten it up. On both sides. And then pretend this is glued. And then this is what you have. You have your snap. And then what I like about it is that you leave the metal in the back. Now, if you don't want the metal to show, then of course you could put it in between the fabric and the paper. But I like the metal to show, so that's the reason why I did it that way. So then all you do now is just decorate it. Decorate it the way you want, and you have your fastener. Now, you've already attached all your 2-inch fabric to your tags. And all you do now is you get the one that you want to use to the back. And I use this one because remember, here's my top to hide my fastener. And all I did was start adding my tags to the prongs, 2-inch prongs. And then use your fastener and close it. I can't see. Let me do it this way. There you go. I could see. And here's the other one. And then all you do is just close it. And that's how you make it. And so that this goes right here to do that part. Now, the other disaster that I had is that I wanted to make this a little bit smaller, about a little bit smaller than this, because I really wanted my the background to show a little bit more. So I really wanted to bring it down about an inch, a half an inch down further, or an inch. But when I did that, you remember this is the regular size that I printed, and I fussy cut that. But when I try to downsize this to 50%, it didn't work for me. I got this size. Yes, this is the Plague Doctor. So that's why I used him for the project here. But look, this is the size that I got. So I made them into dangles. They could be tags too if you want them into tags, but I want them into dangles because I'm going to put them on my journal that I'm working on. So, but yeah, so this is what happened. So I know there was this other crafter who said that she was going to make either dangles or tags. I'm not too sure what she said now, but yeah, this was another mistake. My 50% did not work. As you can see, it turned into this size. I don't know, did I get the measurement wrong? I don't know what I did wrong, but that's the size that I got, and I said, okay, I'm just going with the flow here. because when you have a disaster and it's not going your way, apparently it's taking you another way. And yes, this one did take me another way. Now, I use this as my dangle. This is the Plague Doctor. And so apparently these souls were diseased, got plagued, suffered, and were forgotten. Now, you could decorate this, the topper part, where it hides the fastener, the 2-inch prong fastener. This is a stamp, the ink stamp and the rubber stamp. I did that on a piece of paper, and I painted it with watercolor. It was a really bright green, because I wanted this part of the body of the bug to be green, and then the rest of it black. I distressed it with ground espresso, and when I did that, it turned my green into an olive color, which I like, so I left it alone. Again, when something doesn't go your way, you can either keep on adding the watercolor to get that green, or leave it the way it came out. Apparently, I left it alone because I like the olive green color. So then I embossed it with the clear embossing powder and the ink pad that comes with it to do the embossing. This was the skull that I got from the Ephemeras, and I went ahead and diamond glazed this one, and this one, but this was embossed. Okay, so that's for that one. Now this, I didn't do any embossing, I left it alone. It's the crow to the digital kit, again, the sealer. And this is the back of the coin pocket. Here's my fabric. You're going to see the fabric because, again, I had to add the fabric. And if you noticed, now it's flipping like it's supposed to. So this one, I put a bat and some brads to cover the punch holes, and added the 2 couples. This is 3D. The first one isn't, because I already had too much, so I left it alone. But this is 3D. My sewing, of course, and all the distressing with the ground espresso. Then I used my stamp, and I stamped around this, again, from Tracy Fox digital kit, the skull sealer, wax seal. And then you can see all my sewing that I did to it. Again, the fabric. I used my alcohol ink to distress my tape to make them look old, vintage looking. So that's why they look that color. The butterflies, I made them into moths, and I put more than one antenna to make it look fuzzy. So that's why there's more than just one antenna to these. I got a group of them, of the thread, glued it in the back to make it look full, so it could look fuzzy. Now, the eyelid and a brad, my sewing, and then again, 3D dimensional couple there, or friends. And then over here, I have my own stamp, and I ran out of our Carvo ink, so I need to buy some our Carvo ink. But I used my Ground Distress Espresso to stamp my image on here with the birds. This is Tracy Fox skull wax seal. And then I did the same here. This one I punched 3 of them, wrapped it around with string, tied it in the back. I used a tarantula coming from the that's inside of this pocket here, because I wanted to make this look like they're coming out of the paper. And you could tell by his leg, this foot is not all the way out. The lady came first and she's all out, but he still needs one more leg to come out. But the couple right here. So this is also 3-dimensional. Now, here's another stamping that I did with the Ground Espresso. And then the last one, I use chicken wire to incorporate behind him. I ripped the page, and then I put the stairway because I wanted that look. Some brads. Some eyelets. I was right the first time. And then I wrapped it around with string. Now the chicken wire, I got this, I was inspired by Jen of Eve. She made a forever lasting, I guess you call it a book for pictures and all that. And she decorated the front using the chicken wire, just a little bit on the top with a little pin that was decorated really pretty, and then on the side. And so I watched her a long time ago, but when I was at Hobby Lobby, I saw this on the wedding section area, and it was a spool, and I grabbed it. So now I have chicken wire for a long time to last me. So that's how I made that. Again, I used my stamping right here to get that effect right there. And then I left this alone, but I covered my tie with the alcohol ink tape that I made a while back. I would like to say that this did not take me one day to make. Tracy Fox was generous enough to give us ample time to make our project. I worked on it right away because I do have a bad left arm, shoulder. It froze on me, so I'm finally being able to use it. I could make a ponytail. I can't really stretch it, so but it does hurt when I start using my left hand. So I am under medication, and so and going to physical therapy. I talked to my therapist, and he said that it's going to take 2 years. Yeah, 2 years for it to get better. So that's kind of not what I wanted to hear. I wanted it to go away as soon as possible so I could really start crafting again. But ample time that Tracy gave us, and I really appreciate that she did that for us, because I know I needed every minute, every day that was given for us for me to finish my project. And so that is it. I hope Debbie Whitehouse liked how I showed her how I made the front page and the closure. and now she can make her own. If you do, Debbie, I would like to see it. So please tag me so I can see your outcome of whatever you're gonna make. Um, it doesn't have to be the same. If you don't have these characters, or you do, or you want to put a different character, that's totally up to you. You are you. You make it your own. You do you, as I hear Tim Holtz say a lot, and other crafters say the same thing. You do you, and I'm saying it. So yes, so so that is it. Uh, and thank you for stopping by. Please comment, give a thumbs up, uh, and I'll see you when I see you. Thank you for stopping by. Bye bye.